Well, hey everybody, it's Romania Black, and remember that audio drama? I'm really excited, man. It's been a solid year and a half. I remember back in the fall of 2022, I think it was, and the audio drama was coming out, and you had to follow these 20-step instructions to purchase this Chinese audio drama from another site, and you had to get coins, and you had to transfer the coins into credits to get the audio drama, and it was this big old process. And luckily, it only cost about $10 in the grand scheme of things. And I was like, oh, $10, get the audio drama, all right. And then watched that first episode, and then it was never heard of again. And I was like, no. Which luckily at that point, I was like, okay, well, I have the audio drama. I have the novel reactions. We have the manhwa. We have plenty to get through. We don't have to worry about the audio drama. But since then, a year and a half later, they recast Shilian's voice, which I just realized watching the first episode here today. They recast Shilian. They've redone it. They've got a season of 19 episodes. And so far, Treasure Chest subs and originally Nana, Sweebian subs, had started out doing the translations. And then it swapped over to Treasure Chest subs for this. So that was pretty much the main difference there. Unfortunately, my internet is still out. So my internet is still out. I don't have access to it yet. So the version of episode 1, I rewatched the version that I reacted to way back in the novel. For next week when I talk about the third episode, I'll by that point hopefully be able to go back and look at the updated version of episode 1 and tell you all if there's any differences. That's my goal anyway, but I just couldn't tonight because my internet wasn't working and could not do it. But luckily, Treasure Chest subs have episodes 1 through 5 out now and a couple of the extras. So that'll be really exciting. I'm really excited to be able to talk about episode 2 with you all this week, and we're going to talk about episode 1, the old edition. Some things I noticed. I wrote down some notes that I noticed from back in episode 1 when I rewatched it and was like, oh, now that I have all this novel knowledge, it seems really appropriate, right? But this audio drama, I honestly had debated for a while when the audio drama quit. I was like, I don't know if I want to go back and rewatch it and react to it, because with Modao Zushi, it worked out perfectly. With Modao Zushi, I got done with the Donghua and I could do the audio drama and the novel chapters at the same time, and it was amazing. It was such a great experience. But with this version, I was like, well, I don't know if it's worth, I'm gonna have already read the novel, is it worth to go back and look at the audio drama? And then Reiki and some others in the Discord pointed out that the audio drama is now going to be in the version that has all of the edits. All of the edits, oh my god, for Modao's, for Heaven Official's Blessing, that have been edited and put in. So I was like, well, that's nice. So that's where we're at. So we're going to definitely talk about the edits for this section, the things that were left out, the things that were changed, as well as talking about those edits as a whole. And Reiki and Anime Annie have been putting those together as there have been edits. So that's a fun time, right? So I do want to talk about those edits. They were really honest. They were like, for the first couple of episodes, there's not really a whole lot. So I think what I'm going to do is react. I'm going to talk about episode 1, right? The original episode, and just my overall thoughts and things. Now that I've finished the novel, I want to talk about episode 1 of the audio drama and things that I noticed, because I was like, oh my gosh, going back and seeing this again is such a trip. And then we're going to react to episode 2 of the audio drama and see if we notice anything different. And then I do have the interview that Reiki had pulled from MXTX. There are a lot of different questions, and we'll talk about the interview after this, but I want to kind of go over that. I meant to do it with part 80 of the novel reactions, and that was already nearly 2.5 hours. So I'm like, no, we're fine. We'll just do it here. And so then for next week, I will have hopefully by that time gone back through the other audio drama, the updated version, and make down any notes of changes or things that are worth noting. We'll talk about that next week. We'll do the third episode of the audio drama, the little 3.5 extra that's there, and talk about those. And then we'll have episodes 4 and episodes 5. And at that point, we'll kind of talk about all the changes with episodes 4 and 5 that we've seen so far in the revised edition. So there's just so much content. I was talking about this with Modao Zushi because I thought I had everything caught up with Modao Zushi, and then Reiki's like, did you remember these things? And I was like, son of a bitch. MXTX, there's just so much content. Honestly, Modao Zushi, there is so much content. It is absolutely insane. And Heaven Official's Blessing is the same way. I'm ready for Scum Villain at this point that just has a donghua and just has a novel. That's all I need. I'm sad. I wish I had more. I really do. But maybe now that, Heaven Official's Blessing is well, they're still doing the donghua and the live action, so there's still lots of content to go. But so yeah, I'm just basically, before we start Scum Villain, I'm going to be reacting to these audio dramas to catch up. And then I decided that once Treasure Chest Subs gets new translations, I will react to those. So we'll have that. But so anyway, with the audio dramas, of course, I'm going to have my headphones in because I can't do sound because of copyright, but also there's just going to be a bit of the screenshot of the subtitles so y'all can see that, but I can't show the full thing because obviously we've been instructed not to do so, and it's going to be really, really transparent. So I'm just going to go ahead and warn y'all now that that's just how it's going to have to be. But let me get that plugged in there. There we go. But that's just how it has to be. If you're not a member of Treasure Chest Subs, unfortunately, they just have a joining membership. I lucked out in joining when they opened up so that I could be a part of this. But I want to respect their wishes. They're doing a lot to translate. So hopefully, if you are a subscriber of Treasure Chest, you can actually be a part of that as well. So hopefully that is the case. But one quick thing before we dive into this, I want to make note. There are going to be spoilers, novel spoilers. If you have not read the novel, I am going to be talking novel spoilers throughout this audio drama. So if you are not ready for spoilers, this may not be for you. But if you've read the novel and you're ready or you don't care about spoilers, then all right. But yeah, I had a spoiler corner during the donghua, which I would definitely keep in the future. But for now, with the audio dramas, I'm just going to talk about things as we go, because that's kind of the whole reason I'm doing the audio dramas, is to see what's been revised, to compare and contrast, to talk about it in the series. And it's been honestly a while since I've gone back and looked at season 1 of the donghua, so this will be a nice refresher of that. Season 2 of the donghua was a nice refresher of that content, so yay. And I get to actually hear a lot of the stuff in the novel that might not have been put in the donghua, so win-win. Winner, chicken dinner. But we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to dive into talking about this. So spoilers abound. If you are still watching and listening at this point, spoilers abound to the novel. I'll just go ahead and say that. So, but a special thanks to Anime Annie, to Reiki, and to everybody in the MXTX Discord channel. You all are amazing, and you keep me up to date with things that I'm forgetting to react to all the time. So that's pretty exciting. But yeah. So let's talk about the audio drama episode 1. It had been a very long time since I listened to it. It does start to have some different dialogue than the donghua. Again, next week I'll talk about the updated episode, with episode 3 we'll talk about that. But I forgot that the audio drama starts out at Yinian Bridge. And now that we know that the guardian of Yinian Bridge, the demon, is actually a version of Junwoo, it kind of hits 1,000 times harder. Because the very first thing it does is it's like the little goblin old man on the bridge of Monty Python the Holy Grail, where he's like, answer ye these questions 3, there the other side ye see, if you answer them properly. That's literally what the Yinian Bridge demon does. But the questions he asks are, what is this place? Who am I? What should I do? And I was like, oh, like the idea of Junwoo as the monster, as this being a shadow or a shade of himself, saying, what is this place? And the answer to that question we do get. And the answer to that question is the abyss, right? This is the abyss. This is hell as you've descended down into it, right? And then who am I? What should I do? Those questions, hearing that in the opening was so haunting because it was like, that's what Junwoo questions himself the entire time. Like, who am I now? What have I become over these centuries? And then what should I do? And that what should I do question is like, as he's trying to make the bridge, as he's trying to save the people of Wuyong, it hit like a ton of bricks. And I was like, oh my God. Having the context now, it hits even harder, right? And the way they describe him in the audio drama is to say, with his broken armor and hellfire beneath. And I was just like, oh my God. And the idea that it's 3 questions, the 3 friends that are embedded in his face. I was just, it all hit at once during that opening of the audio drama. And I was like, oh my God. And then, of course, Shilian comes and says, the place is the abyss. And, he says, it's not the mortal realm, huh? Well, body in abyss, heart in paradise. And that's all it takes for Junwoo to get pissed. And it was like, well, you had a good run, Shilian. You had a good one. How'd that go? But yeah. So there is a new voice actor for Shilian in the audio drama. In this first episode, they sound great. I'll have to go back and see how different it is for the updated episode, but I know that they had a new voice actor, so there's that. So the whole Mooching and function thing. Okay. Wow. It is so obvious now, especially once you know the secret. It's so obvious. It's obvious to the point where it's hilarious. And I know all of you were on your hands and knees and sitting on your hands and biting your lips and hands in your mouth being like, Romania, how could you not get that they're the same people? But you know what? If you don't know Chinese voice actors and if you aren't, seeing them side by side and it kind of in the moment, you're like, you give the benefit of the doubt to the story at the beginning. That's always my thing. I'm like, well, at the beginning, I'm going to give the story the benefit of the doubt and we'll see how it changes our perceptions. And boy, howdy. I like that when they are introducing Function and Mooching, the people gossiping, they're like, oh, they're the 2 people that were Shilian. One is the bodyguard, Function, and the other one just sweeps and serves tea. And I was like, oh, the shade, the tea spilled on Mooching. Oh my God, right? And of course, I knew Function's palace was destroyed when Shilian ascended, which is funny in itself. I forgot Mooching was struck with the bell. And I was like, wow, it's like Shilian throwing a cat bell at the cat being like, put it on so I can find you. Oh my God. But yeah. And then here's the thing. Shilian didn't recognize Mooching at the beginning, which of course, adds insult to injury to Mooching, but it's also Shilian blocking out that memory, blocking out that part of his past that he doesn't want to think about anymore. Imagine that, because it's connected directly to when he gets in that state of mind that leads him to become the White Calamity. Have all that, right? But he does remember Feng Shen. He recognizes him. And I like that Ling Wen in the audio drama says, oh, don't mind him cursing at you. And Shilian's like, no, he does this all the time. Like Feng Shen curses naturally, but he's never mean-spirited about it, right? And that's going to come back here in a second. So something else that's interesting is that Mooching, before Shilian even goes on his little adventure, we established that Function curses. There's nothing to it. It's just how he is. And then Mooching, he takes every opportunity in this opening scene to kind of insult Shilian. He's like, oh, well, you're the crown prince. I'm sure it will take you no time to get those merits back. And on the surface, that seems like such a kind gesture, but the way that Mooching says it, it's so thick with sarcasm. You're just like, okay, sass monster. We see how it is. And then Shilian, he sees the butterfly. The first time he comes in contact with Hua Chong in the series, it's the silver butterfly at the tea shop, which was making me think of the tea shop during the extra when Shilian has lost his memory. Imagine that. But I love that he says in there, are you leaving, to the silver butterfly? And you're just like, oh my God, Shilian asking if Hua Chong's leaving. And the silver butterfly never leaves. It just goes out of sight just for a little bit, but it comes back. It's never going to leave him. So I'm like, oh, the foreshadowing, right? So then Fu Yao and Feng and non-Feng show up. They say that Ling Wen sent them. I'm like, did she, or did they choose themselves to come? Fu Yao, who is Muqing, lays it on so thick in this episode that in hindsight, it should have been very obvious that it was Muqing, because it's the exact same like tone, except that instead of Muqing just being directly sarcastic, where you can tell, Fu Yao like kind of hides it with flowery language, but you can instantly see through it once you listen to it. Yeah. So they basically are described by Xi Lian as the same as Non-Feng and Function and Muqing. Xi Lian's like, wow, their subordinates act exactly like them. Never went over my head. Never got it. And then I like that as soon as Function as Non-Feng sees Xi Lian in the makeup as the bride before Zhao Ying fixes it, he just says fuck and like runs out. Hilarious. And then Xi Lian notes, he's like, wow, Non-Feng curses just like Function. And I was like, oh my God, he does. And Fu Yao, as they're going on this journey up to the mountain, he just has this little dialogue with Xi Lian where they're just going back and forth, and they're trying to pretend to be like, they're pretending to be the two guards alongside Xi Lian as the bride. And Fu Yao's like, wow, you must be crying tears of joy getting married in your old age. And I was like, getting onto Xi Lian for getting married at the age of 800, right? And Xi Lian notes, well, I normally have two maids that come with me to get married at the same time, which would be the two of you. And Function kind of like spits out his drink at that. And then Xi Lian, what I love about it is Xi Lian at this point, he thinks that, I think that at this point when Xi Lian's having the back and forth with Muqing as Fu Yao, I think Xi Lian gets that it's him. I think he's starting to figure it out, because at first Xi Lian genuinely thinks that they're just like them. But I think as this episode goes on, he starts to figure it out. But of course, Xi Lian doesn't say anything. But I think he knows. And at this point, Xi Lian's like, well, the master, meaning the groom that they're pretending to go towards, but also Hua Chong, he says, well, the master loves me. And Muqing says, you say he loves you, but why'd it take so long for him to marry you? And I was like, he does not realize he is literally describing Hua Chong. And now Hua Chong not liking Muqing makes even more sense. And I was like, oh shit. And then Xi Lian's like, it'll be fine. And Muqing's like, you've just been charmed by that fox spirit. And I was like, oh, all the callbacks, right? All of the callbacks. And so then, yeah, we hear the creepy giggling from Sisu. We hear the creepy giggling. It's very disturbing. And then, of course, right at the end, Hua Chong shows up. And let me tell you, I don't know how I feel about ASMR. The only one I've really listened to is like Nanami Kinto from Jujutsu Kaisen helps you go to sleep, which did not help me go to sleep at all. Did not work, not a bit. But I don't know how to feel, because there's all this heavy whispering in the between Hua Chong and Xi Lian. And it's not just whispering, it's just like an affirmative breath. It's like just little whispers and breathes, and I'm just like, my ears are having like a tiny mini eargasm, and I don't know what to do with myself. So yeah, it's kind of wild, right? But that first episode was a really great introduction. It was 43 minutes. It just dove you right back into everything. I really, really enjoyed it. So I'm definitely ready to start this next episode and see what we get. So yeah, we're not going to waste any more time. We're going to dive right into this and see what happens. But like I said, special thanks to Treasure Chest subs, special thanks to Reiki and Anime Annie, and special thanks to everybody over on Patreon. You all are amazing. I'm super excited. I hope you all are as well. But in any case, we are going to start Heaven Official's Blessing, episode 2 of the audio drama, the revised edition. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Oh my gosh. Extended breathing. You could say that. He's trying to do his Lan Wangji impression. Just I like they had to put in subtitles the smiling. I just imagine the voice actors just like breathing into the microphone and how that would be. I mean, they did get did get married. Oh, he has come for his bride. You better believe it. Ooh. And then, yeah, the wolves running away. Yes. I love the idea of the fox getting in the wolves to run away. They knew what they were messing with. Who indeed? Oh, of course. I was waiting for him to fall into Watchong, but I just had to trip into you so I could grope you just a little bit for investigation purposes. Ah. No, of course not. He would never do that. Oh, you will find he's going to cooperate with you completely. Probably. Uh-huh. A gentle and considerate one. Only for you. I do like the illustration. You all can't see it, but the illustration is beautiful for the audio drama. Yes. Yep, and the silver rope chains on his boots. His little jingly boots. And the skull. Ha ha ha. Yes. So much for that. I love they just like humps out a smile. It's that time of day when my dogs go crazy. And then the umbrella to hide from the rain. Well, it's blood, yeah. Oh, I love it. Yes. Just the sound of the blood rain. And then get rid of the umbrella. No problems. No problems here. Oh, yes. And then he disperses into 1,000 butterflies. It's not time for Shelian to meet him yet. Nope, not time yet. Yes. Yes. Love it. With the interview I'm going to read, there is a lot of Modao Zushi questions. And I think since I still have another Modao Zushi reaction to do, I'm going to leave those questions for that and just look at the Heaven Official's Blessing questions to look with those. We'll see. Shelian's like, well, something weird happened. He appeared to be a young man, so you say. He doesn't seem ghostly, other than turning into butterflies. He is not, in fact, the ghost that's killing all the people, but he didn't want to come get you. He's your husband, of course. We'll worry about the honeymoon later. Oh, and it's a Pei Ming. Amazing that Pei Ming, we start out with this, right? It's so funny. Overflowing. Oh, Pei Ming is overflowing with lots of things. Oh, his temple runs deep. It's a very creaky temple door. He looks quite handsome. I mean, yeah. What is that smell? Oh, no. If you've ever smelled something dying, it is a frightful smell. You don't just go, oh, what's that smell? You go, oh, what is that smell? The brides. Oh, no. And it being in Pei Ming's temple, of course, because Shang-Chi wanted to be there because of him. In the old temple. Not a smile in sight. Oh my God. The child's voice is so creepy. Yes. Oh. The fetus spirit's voice is so creepy. Is Pei Ming coming? What Always. This is what you give me to work with. Well, honey, I've seen worse. We're going to turn this sow's ear into a silk purse. Go, Rui! Oh no, not the black fog. He's got the black lung pop. Why are you running? Why are you running? Why are you running? Oh yeah, Zhao Ping. I forgot about freaking Zhao Ping. I forgot about Ping. Oh my God. No one knows I'm a man. Ah. Oh, hey, you guys are both here. Is my makeup that bad? You're glowing, Your Highness. Was he so convincing? I like Shilian's like, no, I don't have a fetish. It's a mandatory assignment. A mandatory meeting, if you will. Did you see anything along the way? We just made out a few times, but it was okay. We didn't see anything because we were too busy schnogging behind the sedan. Oh my God. Shit. Fine, we'll stop talking. Why does he destroy things every time there's a disagreement? Well, I mean... I think it's important to note that Shilian, he never at any time wants to become a female form. And he also makes sure that people know that he's not into like drag. He's just doing this for the assignment. And I don't think it's that Shilian's against that sort of thing. I just think that it's like Shilian's idea of showing himself that he is a masculine character and isn't like the femme uke or something like that, you know, like in Japanese yaoi. Not among us, right? No, it's got a form. Where did the Mingguang temple come from? How unusual. Yeah. Yeah, then why do we only see Nanyang temples? Well, why would they abandon this place? Never mind, that's a story for another day. Uh-oh. That's so creepy. Oh my God. Yeah, that's the appropriate reaction. Why would you want to stay there with a bunch of dead people? No, get out. And then Pang's like, let's take these corpses down the mountain. No, that's so awful. Yeah, you'll all get poisoned. Oh my God. I'm like, Pang was willing to like sell corpses to families for money. That's absolutely vile. No. Oh my God, no. Shilian's like, I don't know what else to tell you. I've warned you. I warned you. You realize that's a corpse, right? Nope. Nope. I don't think I'd be all for the corpse. No. Shilian's like, the fudge are you doing? Shilian's like, you're on about that again? Oh. Uh-huh. Well, damn it. Oh. I like that they're smelling the blood, but nobody else is. Oh, that's such a mooching response. Oh my God. Shilian's like, stop it. I need to get into martial god mode. Save us, blood, my leg. Oh no. Is it from the corpse forest, right? Is that why Shilian got under Hua Chong's umbrella? Ella Ella A. Yeah, it's Chi-Rong's calling card. You can't get jerky without hanging out the meat. Now hang me out to dry. Uh-huh. You knew it was dangerous. You were warned. I don't want the money. Help us. Shilian's like, well, now we're back to the very beginning. Square one, as it were. The Knight touring Green Lantern. Who? The Near Supreme. What a shade. Not quite, no. I'm excited to get to the episode where we get the lesson about all of them. I'm hoping it's after this. Why not just call him a Wrath? Oh, uh-huh. Was it from the blood? Yes, in fact. Mm-hmm. Which is funny, you have a rain of blood for the Crimson Rain Sought Flower. Here we go. Uh-huh. Where is he? Well, he kind of just vanished. Oh, yeah. He didn't even use his hands. No, absolutely not. No, I'm glad that at least Mooching notes that. You don't even know the half of it. He's a great cook, but has poor taste. Ooh, and he's going to mention the butterflies. Yes. What kind of silver butterflies? Oh, they were beautiful. They were kind of cute. Bloodthirsty, murderous intent, but they were really adorable. Ha! Let's get out. Yeah, you don't even know the half of it. Oh, you don't know informed. Well, I don't. Ha ha ha. Oh, well, I think Shilian can take him. In a fight? In a fight. No, he didn't seem sinister. He's pretty sweet. I like that Fu Yao, aka Mooching, is like, bye. Yeah, and he's the first to leave of the three here. And Feng Xin saying, I'm not him. Amazing. Yeah. This is mofo. I forgot about Zhao Peng. I forgot about it. Oh, Xiao Ying, no girl. Oh. She just did his makeup because he looked frightful otherwise. Ugh. Oh, come on. Oh, yeah. And then yep. And Xiaoling. Oh. Oh. Her bandages. Oh. Oh, her face is wrapped up in bandages. Oh. I'm definitely going to have to go back and rewatch episode 1 now, the new version of it. So is Xiaoling not in this yet? Uh-huh. Interesting. For no reason. Well, Shanji. Huh. Okay. Oh, yeah. In this, they just clapped hands, like you're supposed to do. Okay. All right. Nobody tell me the Long Ying thing yet, because she seems to have the bandages on instead. So is that a revision? I'm wondering if there's been a revision where Zhao Ying has the bandages and not Long Ying. Don't tell me the answer to this question. I want to go back and rewatch the other episode first. Oh. Interesting. Well, shit. Yeah. Put their veils back on. Get them shrouded back up. Get back in the kitchen, bitches. Oh. Oh. Chilling with her. I'm not part of the street performer troupe anymore. Oh my god. Talk about this now. Talk about this now. Amazing. Okay. Why not? Why not bring it up? I like that it just dropped. Just casually dropped that Shillian was a street performer. Don't worry about it. Lingwen, messenger with 100 answers. Did he have a confidant? There's a bunch of dead broads chasing me. Did they have relations with him? Oh my god. It's not that it's difficult to answer. He had many confidants. Ah. There was one. Uh-huh. Shanji. Led to an amorous affair. Whew! A very spicy Donghua exclusive. Uh-huh. She was stubborn and persistent. Yeah, she was kind of a stage 5 clinger. And General Pei was not, not sleeping around is an accomplishment for him! The shade! The Lingwen shade! Yeah. Crap, of course. Why do I run out the most crucial time? I love that Lingwen's like, yeah, he's a hoe. Shilian's like, oh. Uh-huh. A leaf hidden in the trees. Love that. Yep. I just love that we get full on that Sheilian talks about him being a street performer, like right from the get go here. Nice. Build it up. For no reason. Never say that. Uh huh. Why indeed? Mm hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, Shanji is super jealous because she couldn't get to be Pei Ming's bride. Yep. Which is hilarious because Yushi is like polar opposite of that. Not controlling and not jealous whatsoever. All right. Oh, you can hear her. Oh, with the shuffling. Oh. Oh. That makes it have so much weight to the sound of it. Oh, that sounds so creepy. Ooh. She sounds so desperate. Oh. Oh my God. Lots of women, they throw themselves down for that Mingguang dick. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. She could write like a whole album of country songs based off of. She's going about this the wrong way, right? I mean, it's interesting they frame Pei Ming so bad in this opening episode, and then you realize later that it's kind of like just kind of Shanji overall, but Pei Ming did have an influence in it. Uh huh. Shit. Well, what? Oh my God, that laugh. A girl should have just done like Taylor Swift. Write an album about him. Do like your 1989 is waiting in the wings, girl. You could have wrote a whole album about him, gone platinum. She went about this the wrong way. Could have wrote a bunch of country songs about him. She just did not have the right creative outlet. I mean, it's like it's not all because of him. Yeah. For a man like this, why'd you do this for this hoe? She's like, you didn't write his dick. You don't know. No, girl. Oh. 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 Is she gonna die here or not? Oh. What? What? Oh, she knew who he was. So she's not gonna die. Oh! Oh! So she's not dying. And we don't have Long Ying here. Interesting. So is she going to replace Long Ying? What? No, it's Fei Su, right? Who are you? No. Well, I don't think she'd forget what he looked like. This is not the general Pei you're looking for. Yeah, Pei Zhu. Well, I mean, must have been a dry spell back then. I remember when I was so mad at Pei Ming, like at the start of the story, I thought he was the worst. And now looking back on this, I'm like, yeah. Like I feel for Shanji because I've been there, but I'm like, girl, you did a lot of this to yourself. I mean, he is awful for not seeing her, but at the same time, it's pretty mutual. Man, to think of where this storyline is going to go and those characters to see each other again, and then Shi-Rong getting involved and Ming Guang getting involved, like all this craziness. Pei Shu is like, excuse me, I gotta handle this hoe. My ancestor and her. No! Oh my god. Did Shanji's curse work? Because now he has this crush on Yushi that's like, he doesn't know what to do with. Fishu's like, what did my ancestor do? I mean, technically it's not wrong. Flashback. Ooh. 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 Just so forward. So forward. Just so forward. I'm gonna spill more than just blood, baby. Do you want to just have some hot, like, hate sex right now? Oh my god! I'd be like, excuse me? Beg pardon? Uh-huh. Oh. Oh my god! Okay. And then the two became friends. Ah. Uh. Oh. They were incompatible. Star-crossed. She was too persistent. And that's when she tried to offer the plans. Hmm. Pei Ming learned the very hard lesson that day of you don't stick your dick in crazy. It was a hard learned lesson. A hard learned lesson. Mine's in the gutter. That's where we're at. He's like, you're no fun anymore. We're fun when we were like fighting for our lives. Not that. Oh, this was just a fling from the start. Oh. He wants to love him and leave him, and she wanted it to develop into something. Damn. And the irony is, like, she is kind of like the love him and leave him. She don't care. And he's like, but... Yeah, I mean, I related a lot to Shanji because it's like, you just can't date a player. His... No, he just doesn't like your personality of being a clinger. Well, not necessarily. Take care! What a line! Oh. I like this motif of, yeah, oh. Shit. This idea of, oh my God, girl. Shit. Ooh, he don't like clingers, right? And I like this theme of, when people, I like this theme of self-harm is not attractive to Pei Ming or to Hua Chong, right? Ah. And then the tie-in of her slitting her throat to keep him there and it not working, and then Yushi slitting her throat. Interesting. But yeah, what I was gonna say is there's this theme of self-harm not being attractive, but also like fear of one's body not being worth it to another. What kind of people are these? Yeah, Shulian's like they shouldn't have died. Oh, didn't you run away? Oh, yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, and he was wearing them when he saw Pei Jr. Oh, yeah. Pei Su's not like that. Ha! Self-control is an interesting word. Wow, Mooching, don't be shady. I mean, in different ways. So Pei Su's only 200 years old. I forget that. Ah. massacred a city. There aren't many good and kind people in the heavenly court. None of them are to be trusted. Yes. I like functions like, don't be an alarmist, but Mooching did have that right. Yeah. Heavenly officials you can rely on. Oh, his big member. Ah! I mean, Function's got that daddy energy. I don't think that's too wrong now. So she did. Wow. We're changing this. And a flower bun like the one to the Earth God Shrine. What? She's the Earth God? What? What? Holy shit, what? Out of a strong desire. Holy cow, that is a change. So we don't know where Long Ying is. Okay, interesting. Well, she had the bandages around her face, so I thought maybe they were like merging her character and Long Ying's character. But she was the Earth God. What? And he's going to keep the bun that she gave. How crazy. Okay. Interesting. I'm glad she doesn't die now. That was a pointless death before. I'm glad that that's not the case. Although that does mean, you know, like... Her face. That's how we're going to get it. The bride's face has the human face disease. Oh, that's so good and creepy! Oh, wow. Okay. So that's how we're changing things. Okay. Okay. All right. What? That's so wild. Okay. I mean, do what we gotta do, right? How bizarre. I mean, I'm here for it. I'm okay with this. Wow. Ooh, okay, we got this song now. And this is about Shilian. Who will remain steadfast in their devotion? I can't imagine who. As a lonely ghost on roads he's walked before. Oh! Oh my gosh, and that's about Hua Chong. Oh, and talking about him meeting Shilian along the way. Yes, it will be worth it, for sure. Ah. An ending where my strength is feared. Ah. Yes. No paths are bound. Wow. I love it. Nice. You're gonna get the full ED effect. That's so interesting. I am so intrigued about Zhao Ying being the little god of Earth. Yeah. I love these lyrics are clearly about Shilian and Hua Chong. Mm-hmm. Really, really good. So that's interesting. That just blows my mind. So we don't really have so there is no Long Ying yet. Interesting. Okay. Okay. I mean, we're going to talk about this after this episode. We're going to talk about some theories. So that's curious. I'm sure they're going to show us a preview at the end of this, one would think, right? Oh, you're going to get that third bridge. You're going to get that chorus. You're going to come in. Hell yeah. Ah. Wow. A full moon in the night. 3,000 lights flicker in the bright sky. Hey! Wow. Look at that. Oh. Nice. It's a great ED. All right. What are you giving us? Yes, the preview. Uh-huh. Ah! Ah, yeah. Okay. Wow. Holy snots. Okay. Well, I mean, why would we ever doubt such a thing? Oh my God. So this audio drama is fantastic. I love it so far. I really like, one thing that I really like is the kind of parallel between talking about like Pei Ming and Shanji and Shilian and Hua Chong, because you have Hua Chong and Shanji who both have like this negative view of their own like self-being. And so like Hua Chong, Shanji thinks that she has this like the reason why. Now, of course, Hua Chong doesn't really think that Shilian can't be with him, but Hua Chong like reveres Shilian the same way that Shanji reveres Pei Ming. And it's interesting because Shilian ends up being with Hua Chong and accepting him and loving him, etc. And Pei Ming shoves her away. And so her reaction is kind of like Shilian's, where she self-harms as a solution. And so it's interesting just to see those kind of elements at play working. But okay, so I'm definitely going to go back and rewatch the newer version of episode 1, because I'm assuming they changed something in this to reflect upon this with Xiao Ying. I'm assuming that they've got some reflection here. But yeah, so Xiao Ying doesn't die in this version. I'm fine with that, because here's the thing. On the one hand, you would think, well, isn't her death something that's a catalyst for Shilian? It kind of is, but you could also say when he looks at the brides in the episode and he's like, but also these brides didn't have to die. He could also think back to the brides. He doesn't have to think back to just Xiao Ying. He knew her for 5 seconds. He could think back to the brides and that's it. So that's interesting that she ends up living, which good for her. Good for her. She gets to live. The thing that I'm curious about is she the god of earth that gives them directions and they just made her that and that's how she knew Shilian? Or is she the descendant from Yongin? And that's going to be interesting. I'm going to be curious of 3 things. One, if she ends up actually being the god of land and earth and they made that character that and that's how she knows Shilian. Fine. But she has all the bandages around her face. So 2, is it that she was hiding maybe the human face disease, or that she was the descendant of Yongin and longing just doesn't exist anymore? It's her. Maybe, could be. Because, I mean, Mooching and Function suspect that she's the land of God and Earth, but they don't really know, right? So there's that. So I'm going to be curious if she is taking the place of Longing and we're just going to do that instead of having two characters that have the same name, just have her be that. Or if she is going to be the god of land and earth, if she's the god of land and earth, then the question becomes, do we actually have a Long Ying character, and is he going to come later in the story? I'm curious now. I mean, I don't think we're going to get to it anytime soon. So, but don't answer this question for me. I want to find out when we get to it. But I'm going to be curious now, like when we get to season 2's events, now that this is being revised, is he actually going to be in the story and be at Paradise Manor? Because let's be real, Long Ying doesn't really have a purpose in this story. Now that I'm thinking about it, he doesn't really have a purpose until the very end when you find out that Bai Wusheng used him as a vessel to come back to life. He doesn't really have a purpose. He's just kind of there. And then it's like MXTX had to find things to do with him. Like, yeah, put him in this wing of the Heavenly Court while Shilian's up there with the Windmaster Lan Chan Chu. Yeah, take him to the Puji Shrine. Yeah, he's here at the Puji Shrine, but he's following us, isn't he? The only time where Long Ying is actually like a critical element is when he like is with them when they go to the Blackwater Arc, and it's kind of creepy and Hua Chong's suspicious of him. And then when he ends up in Mount Tonglu on the speared there, and he becomes Bai Wusheng. But you could have Zhao Ying do that exact same thing. You could have Zhao Ying come in. You could basically cut out his character in Paradise Manor, cut him out completely. The only thing that's going to be interesting is if they do that, if they cut his character out completely, then how does Shilian talk to Hua Chong in Paradise Manor about that about, like taking on a new kid for cultivation? Like, how do they change the conversation? How are they going to edit it? This is exciting. I'm excited about this. I'm like, okay, all right, we're editing things. We're tidying some stuff up. Okay, I'm here for this. All right. I'm going to be really curious how his role is in this story, if it is at all. That's going to be interesting. And I mean, because other than the Paradise Manor stuff that kind of like, you could work around that. You can make the plot work to get Shilian to Paradise Manor and have the conversations happen that need to happen without Shilian messing with Long Ying. You could make it work. I could see how you could do that. The only thing that's going to be interesting is if you could basically cut out Long Ying and all the scenes with them until you need them to show up during Blackwater, and it could be Zhao Ying. You could just have Zhao Ying show up and be like, I'm coming to visit you, oh heavenly official, and I'm a god that's just visiting you. You could have it work. It could work. And then you could have them show up at Mount Tonglu and become Bai Wusheng. Like, that would not be a problem. I'm so curious now how MXTX is going to revise this. Interesting. Curious. But yeah, what a twist. She doesn't die. Cool. All right. But I don't want spoilers. I know it may be a long time before I find out these answers, but I don't want spoilers. I'm super excited now. Interesting. Okay. All right. I'm here for this. So, nice. Interesting indeed. So I want to check out this interview and look at the questions that are going to be on here. The ones that are specifically for, like I said, I've still got a Modao Zushi thing to react to. So I'm going to look at the Modao Zushi portions of these questions and save it for that. But I will look at the ones that are specifically for Heaven Official's Blessing. And then I think I might come back to this interview for the other parts as we go for parts 4 and 5. But so, question 1, what was Hua Chong's password for the spirit communication? Oh, Hua Chong's password is secrets only they know. Oh, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you, MXTX, not answer that question? What a move. What a bold move. Birthdays. Let's see. Hua Chong's is on June 10th. And it's the 6th of the 5th lunar month. Okay, and Shilian's is on July 15th, which is the 12th of the 6th lunar month. Interesting. So it's like a Gemini and a Cancer? Curious enough. Okay, all right. Which would be like, in Haikyuu, it'd be like Oikawa and Shoyo, so I'm here for it. How did you decide the name of your books and characters? I come up with the ideas about the book's names by hearts and the character by intuition. Fair. Let's see. Could you give them a grade for each of their skills, such as Hua Chong? Hua Chong has the best skill of the 3 main protagonists, I guess. He's good at sweet talks and all kinds of plays, and he's romantic and attractive. So even though Shilian would be shy, he would still be obedient no matter what Hua Chong demanded. I mean, interestingly enough. All right, let's go down here. That one's about Modao Zushi. Get some Modao Zushi questions on here. I think, what was it, 7 to 13? I think were all Modao Zushi questions. I had it wrote down here which ones were Modao Zushi. Yeah, so we're going to skip those there. All right. What is the height of all the characters in Heaven Official's Blessing? Shi Lian is 178 centimeters, but he can pretend to be 180. Hua Chong is 190. In the begin of the small version, he pretended to be cute and young, and he's 185. Junwoo is 191 centimeters, so just a centimeter taller, you know, for good measure. Function's 188. Mu Ching is the same. Sean is 189. Shiwudu is 187. Then 186 for the Wind Master, and the female version is 176. Pei Ming's the same height as Mu Ching and Feng Xin. Ling Wen's 180 centimeters, so she's the same height, literally almost as Shi Lian, if not taller. Interesting. Chan Yushin's 184, but he's a noticeable existence. Yin Yu is 186, but magically, even though he's tall, it's hard to notice this. He's actually tall. And if Yushi's buffalo doesn't stand up, 150. Oh, so she's really super short. Yushi is tiny. She's like 38 centimeters shorter than Pei Ming. She's so little bitty. I'm like, take her, Pei Ming. Go on. Let me see. Where did Hualien have the first Papa Ba? Papa Ba! Oh my god! Did Hua Chong know Shi Lian kissed him in the Qiandong Temple? Oh. They're the first Papa Ba. In the Huanji Temple in Taisang Mountain. Oh. Hua Chong didn't know before, but he seduced and interrogated it out. Oh, so he found out eventually. Oh my god. Oh, well, okay, in the Taisang Mountain having our first go around. Well, we know that now. Okay, that's good to know. What are the last fresco and the lying sculpture of Shi Lian like? They're like that, you know, that. Good answer. Good answer. Okay. What did Shi Lian do after his second relegation? What about Hua Chong? Why had he never found Shi Lian? Hua Chong had sworn he would never let Shi Lian know that he had been protecting Shi Lian. So what made him decide to reunite with him 800 years later? Okay, good. Oh, we're finally getting answers. Yay. Okay. He tried to do some other jobs, but he failed. And his bad luck infected others, so he had to be a lonely junk collector. Hua Chong was looking for Shi Lian, cultivating and earning money at the same time. He took lots of efforts to expand his sphere of influence. He was trying to be the most powerful one. Truly because of Shi Lian's extremely bad luck from head to toe, he couldn't come across Hua Chong. Actually, there were several times that they could almost meet each other, for instance, in the Banyu Nation and the Fengshen Goshi period, but they just missed. Until Shi Lian's third ascending into godhood, and Hua Chong finally rushed to him eagerly. Okay, so basically, it's sort of like when Hua Chong told Shi Lian, like, you know, wait for me, I'll come back. And Shi Lian had to wait until Hua Chong ascended back into his, you know, his supreme ghost form. So it was kind of like that. Once Shi Lian had his second ascension, he was just going around scrap collecting, and meanwhile, Hua Chong was gathering up all his strength and power. And then once Shi Lian ascended, he was like, okay, I can spring into action now. Cool, that makes so much sense. Why does Hua Chong not allow Shi Lian to touch him when they meet again? MXTX, because he loves and respects him from his heart. He was so excited at that point that he was so scared that he would make mistakes if he was allowed the touching. Later, the other reason is, if he thinks he is not good enough, like he didn't protect Shi Lian well, he won't allow himself to touch his god. No matter how much he desires, he treats this as self-punishment. What did Shi Lian like? What did Shi Ling like to do when he was a child? How would he act? Why would he act so cute? He would like to play on the swing, practice Chinese calligraphy and Chinese painting. He liked reading books that others won't read and piling the gold-leafed temple. He loved acting cute and cuddly with his mom during the night. However, he stopped doing so later on, and the king thought that he wasn't cute anymore. How did the name Hua Chong and the address San Long come from? Only he knows why he's called Hua Chong. I came up with the names by intuition, and he didn't tell me why. As for San Long, the first reason is that he's the third child of his family. Second, he fell off at the third round of the parade during the Shangyang. Oh, so he is the third child. Interesting. And he fell off at the third round. There's a lot of reasons you can guess. He's the top in my third work. So I called him San Long intentionally as an Easter egg. But it's not the main reason. Like, why is Lan Wangji called erger gay? Okay. And, Chu Chi, the protagonist of the fourth novel, called Si Shao. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm so excited about the fourth novel. So excited. All right. Why did Hua Chong bandage himself when he was a child? Why did he fall off the wall? And why was he still healthy even though he's always bullied by others? Someone beat him. His right pupil was red, and this made the others scared. Many wounds on his face also needed to be hidden. So he had a red eye. Oh, one day he couldn't bear the bully anymore and wanted to commit suicide. He was an aggressive kid and harbored heavy rage. Hearing the parade during the worship festival was going on, and it would bring the country disaster if something wrong happened, he decided to ruin the ritual right on that day. It's a feeling like I'm unfortunate, so I'll drag the whole country down to hell with me. But when he climbed on the wall, only to be frozen at the sight of his future wife, he forgot the suicide. He was so eager to be closer and see him better that he dropped from the wall. So he wasn't trying to kill himself at that point. He just wanted to see Shilian. He is a man as tough as Shilian. He can survive thousands of pains and sustain one last breath to make his way against all those sufferings to the top. Oh, that's so sweet. I like that confirmation that he was going to jump and then he decided not to when he saw Shilian. Oh. Why would Hua Chong have no confidence about his appearance? Because people always said he was ugly and a monster when he was a kid. It makes him deeply believe that I am very ugly. Later, he started to doubt that he might be pretty handsome, but in front of his true love, he would still have the same sense of inferiority unconsciously. And sometimes he would secretly doubt if he is ugly. Oh, I'm so glad that Shilian's like, you're not ugly, and finally tells him. What did Mu Qing say when he kicked Hua Chong out of the army? Answers! Yes! Just like what Mu Qing usually says, something like, your kind of kid is useless for Diansha. You will only be his burden. The army doesn't need rubbish like you. Don't think you really have a gift. And in the army, the mortality of this kind of youth is very high indeed. So Mu Qing thought it's absolutely right to kick him out. Interesting. Why does Shilian pick Hua as his surname? Because he loves flowers. He's known as the martial god of Corolla, and in the original setting, he was exiled as a god of flowers, in charge of the blooming and fading of flowers. Okay. What is this? Okay, is Shi Qingshang immortal now? Will his hand and foot recover? There's stuff blacked out. Shi Wudu died. Really? Why is why Heshan took Shi Wudu's head? And why did he say to Shi Qingshang on He Shui Island at the end? Okay, yes, the Windmaster is mortal now. His hand and foot will not recover. Neither did he want to. Shi Wudu has been cold. Why did he die? As a sacrifice. Let me see. What did he say on the end of the island? Nothing. Interesting. There's stuff blacked out, so it must be stuff that I can't know yet. Interesting. Okay. What do you think about the argument about the plot structure when writing Heaven Official's Blessing? About this, in fact, I've written something relevant for a long time. Some is put in the author's words in the novel on Xinjiang. I wanted to put some in the postscript, but I didn't after a second thought. Now is a good chance, so I decided to arrange to send it all. To be honest, I'm still a bit speechless. I feel like no other authors will have this kind of argument like me. Isn't it very normal that an author writes some novels that you don't love and some novels you love? Even though I don't like every novel written by my favorite author who doesn't write BL novels, even the world-class master can't ensure all their written books are world-class masterpieces, right? Of course, I'm not a world-class master. Warning, don't garble a statement. Oh, come on. So I don't understand something like why people will doubt that I have a team to ghostwrite for me, or people will turn into an anti-fan as long as they don't like one of my novels. But I discover the argument always exists. In Xinjiang, as long as it's not cute and sweet novel with a happy ending, the comments are mostly not peaceful. From now on, I still remember the first negative score, which I got is a girl cursed something to die when VIP chapters start in Scumville and Self-Saving System. We'll find that all out. At least they argued for this topic. But if you see the argument with that kind of scale, it's not a big deal at all. At the time, I'd never seen these kind of things, so I was really scared. In the beginning of writing Modao Zushi, I first received a comment which hurt me and was like, "You've run out of my patience. I don't want to tolerate your memory parts, which are too many." At the time, I was just writing the first part about studying in the cloud recesses, and I was thinking, girl, you can't tolerate this now. What should you do with the rest? Right? Yeah. And some people were like, I feel this novel you writ isn't interesting. I still prefer Scum Villain. I felt uncomfortable when I saw this kind of comment, but I still didn't say anything. Later, there are people in the comment areas. Everything happens. So I don't feel anything for those things. Also, from time to time, I have a good habit. Don't read the comment areas. As I said so. So, see, actually, the argument has never stopped. There are always people who are dissatisfied. The past argument is now fading. It gives people the illusion the argument never existed. Just like people always love recalling how beautiful and perfect the past time was, time will add a layer of filter. It's not a big deal about the difficulties that appear when I was writing. No author dares to say there's no difficult time during their writing process, right? But some authors are very smart. They just write what they are good at. Of course, it's amazing, but I think I still need to walk outside my comfort zone and explore sometimes. As it's exploring, I can't ensure every step I take is stable. If I fall, I will get up by myself. You can't force me to walk the other road, not allow me to take this step, or even take my right to walk, just because I will fall. If you really don't like it, then just let it go. I hope people can come and leave amicably. But some readers are quite strange. They dislike the novel, but they keep forcing themselves to read and vent their dissatisfaction at the same time. Why? After all, even though you dislike, some readers really love it. If you do so, you feel uncomfortable, and the other readers feel uncomfortable too, and it's easy to start arguing, and then I'm embarrassed. Because it's reasonable that people want to protect the things they like. I can't stop the reader, and I don't allow them to protect what they like. I understand how sad and angry people feel when their favorite things are attacked, and I feel sorry for these readers. But I also respect the reader's right to post a comment. So to many unfriendly comments, I never argue or refute unless it's spreading vicious gossip. I even go to dissuade when some readers overreact. But I want to say here, I can ignore the negative comment, but I don't like the so-called suggestion. Why? Because writing a novel, a person who hasn't written is just really an armchair strategy. Just like when you teach people to write an essay, you suggest to them to use vivid words and well structure. When you teach people to answer mathematical problems, you suggest to them to draw inferences and calculate carefully. Sounds pretty good, right? But it's too abstract in general. Everyone knows there's a lack of detail. If you really want to achieve that, there's only one way. Write by yourself. Also, if the suggestion is too much detail, such as, at this part, the word he said should be a bit more elegant. At this part, he should sympathize instead of ignoring. It's better if you change this into a parallel sentence. Then it's crossing a border. Writing the story is something very private. There are countless readers for a story, but only one author. Everyone comes to read this author to write the story instead of reading a story which is written by a puppet. Every reader all have something that they want to read. If everyone asks the writer to write something, then who should the author listen to? Why him or her instead of the others? Maybe you will say listen to the accurate one, but whose opinion is accurate? How can you prove that one is accurate? There are too many people who read the novel online. The most critical question is, after all, who is writing the story and who is the expressor? It's good for authors to have humility, but it only means authors need to read more, see more, write more, control by yourselves, know your own thoughts, then balance and practice by yourselves. It doesn't mean to change based on other people's suggestions all day. Other people can't get involved in this kind of thing. And I don't suggest to people to guess the author's thoughts casually, because the majority is wrong. But people who guess believe that they imagine without doubting. In the end, they will usually do things of malice. No matter what I write, there are always people who have different opinions. Someone said I'm too self-centered. I torture the readers on purpose. I always write something that's too deep and sad. Business writers should behave like business writers. It's not allowed to be so self-centered. I should know how to please the reader cautiously. At the same time, someone said I've changed. I only know how to please the fan without fluff, without thinking. Really, I have no choice. How about you guys unify your opinions first? But I don't like people arguing in the comment areas. If people argue, then other people may say this author's fan is so terrible they don't allow anyone to say bad things, and then it will develop into the fans are crazy and the author is self-centered and arrogant. No matter what, the author is always responsible for the mistake. I'm very passive and I always suffer the losses. So I'm asking you sincerely to ignore this kind of comment. It's okay to let it sink naturally. Otherwise, Everyone will be disturbed and influenced to read the novel by keeping the argument going on longer. Oddly enough, I needed to hear that. So as a creator and as somebody that enjoys and reads a lot of comments, that is oddly refreshing to hear MXTX talk about it like that. Like, good on you, girl. That is so crazy. I'm here for it, though. I'm here for it. Okay. When will you revise Heaven Official's blessing in your plan? Actually, I've started to revise now. When finished, I'll revise them all together and send notices. But because this needs a great effort to revise, and also has restrictions on the revising, it becomes more difficult. I don't know how long it will take. I can't ensure it will be done before or after my fourth novel, and it depends on what happens in my life and the fourth one's desire to come out. What extras will you write for Heaven Official's blessing? I want to write folk tales for a long time. Each one is a short fairy tale, not long. Okay, and then this question here is about, these questions here about the fourth novel. Will your fourth novel fall in the line from a secret crush to a two-way secret love? How long will Chu Chi, the bottom of the fourth novel, and Yan Yu, the top of the fourth novel, wait until they belong together? Could you reveal some settings for the top and the bottom? How bad is the top? Actually, any love relationships develop from secret love, but based on the nature of the fourth main couple, they don't. They don't need to wait. I've written the summary section that they meet by chance, which means they'll only know each other after they both appear in the novel. And I feel like waiting is a romantic factor only in ancient background novels. They are both rich and beautiful. Something has changed. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I'm curious about this. How is the progress of the fourth novel outlined? When will it be released? It will be in the form of a unit play, and how many units will it have? How long will it be? You said this time you wouldn't store drafts in advance, but you had a hard time for daily updates before. Would you think about changing the update frequency? Any more information that can be revealed in advance? The fourth novel's outline might have even came out before Heaven Official's blessing, so I hesitated between the two to choose which one should be released first, but the content of the unit should be considered more, so it needs more time. Don't ask me about the plan of time and length of the novel because it will most likely be inaccurate if I tell you now. I'm thinking about to update daily for each unit. Like, I may claim there will be a gap for the rest and for preparation after one unit, and a unit will be a complete phase or some kind of summary. But I seriously suggest you'd better to develop a habit of don't spoil and avoid spoilers. Spoilers for this kind of novel is really impolite. People who are spoiled can only enjoy half the fun. Yeah, exactly! And comments like, I was spoiled and have no surprise at all, discourage me, the author, because it's not my fault. Of course, I don't mean to ban the discussion. It's impossible to stop readers from discussing, but at least I hope you guys don't spoil or indicate the chapter's comment section and tag a spoiler warning when you're going to comment in public. The safest way is not to check the tag and not follow spoilers on your timeline if you haven't read it. If there are any information that can be revealed, I will note them in the summary. Keeping it a secret is just because I can modify it many times before finalization, and I'm worried about revealing information that might be different from the final version. Is the fourth novel a traditional detective story or one with a supernatural element? Did you feel stress working on the detective-themed story? Who's your favorite mystery writer? Do you prefer Western or Japanese style? It's just surreal element, but perhaps it doesn't count as supernatural like ghosts or monsters. I think real life is boring, so I don't go for pure realistic themes. Now, no matter what I write, pressure would just be in company with me all the way. So to relieve my pressure, I hope everyone can just take it easy. I don't expect any amazing masterpiece or thoughtful and high-level godlike social school novel from me. After all, my writing is more changeable. My favorite mystery writers are Conan Doyle, which is Sherlock, and Shimada Soji. I prefer the Japanese style. Actually, the whodunit of Western style is not much. Maybe the translation makes me need more patience to read them. So I've just read some magnum opus of Conan Doyle and Agatha Christie. Well, I mean, if you're gonna read a mystery story, Conan Doyle, which is Sherlock, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and Agatha Christie, you can't go wrong. They're like cream of the crop, right? Go for the big ones, you know? Okay. Will you consider write new extra chapters or small pieces for fun? Maybe if I have the inspiration, but personally, I don't like crossovers. I don't either. So look at there. Maybe because it may look like everyone in the world is gay. That's great. That's great. Okay. Who is your favorite character? Do you have a picture in mind when you thought about the character design? In your view, what's the most significant factor for two main characters to be a couple? Do you have any couple preferences? What are the favorite scenes that you've written? I haven't written my favorite character yet. Till now, I still hesitate to write it. Many people dislike what I like. Of course, the image will directly come up to my mind when I'm picturing the characters. The most significant factor for two main characters to be a couple is I want to see these two people fall in love. I haven't settled on any preference, but I like many kinds of couples. But I know what I dislike and really dislike, and I like flirting and catfight scenes. What time do you usually go to sleep? How's your body condition? How's your usual state of mood when you're writing? Have you cried for what you write? If it's busy that day, how do I feel? And whether I need to get up early the next day. Hair loss is a problem. Killing people without a blink. Emotionless and cold blood, but that's just for the cruel plots. I'm still emotional while writing some of the soft plots. For example, I wrote the death of Zhao Jingshen with a poker face. But when I wrote the scenario of Ching that taking out the fox hairpin by the stream, I felt sad. Just like a scum sime. Da 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 da. I don't know if there's anything else here. I felt excited when I wrote Hualien who was suffered, and I'm like, I'm okay, but I cried sometimes when they were showing love. Some of the translation's a little odd, so, Okay. Did you like writing since you were a kid? Could you reveal your current writing plan? When will you write a modern BL supernatural novel? Will you write a main character with a non-ideal personality? Do you plan to write a BG or novel without couples? What's the 1,000,000 words long novel that you've mentioned? Will you write a pure romance story? Oh my God, all these questions. Will you try to write something more fluffy without angst? When I was a kid, I actually didn't love writing. I just liked reading stories and making them up. So for a long time, I thought about being a mangaka. But finally, I gave up and changed my dream and decided to write novels because of various reasons. Currently, my plan is that number 5, will be a modern supernatural novel, which was the second novel at first. The one which is cut in line by Modao Zushi, Heaven Official's Blessing, and the 4th novel. Oh, so back before in the other interview that I did for Modao Zushi for the manhwa reaction, she was talking about this novel, and now it's been bumped to the 5th. Girl, you got all these ideas. I was like, thank God, it's finally my turn. I've thought about this novel's name for 3 years. Though I thought it would definitely be roasted by some people, I'm still very satisfied with the name. Non-ideal personality. I want to write it very much. The top in my 4th novel and the bottom in the 5th novel both have a bit of a non-ideal personality and are both a bit dangerous. Ooh. And I think that it's not a big problem. Interesting! Now, there are too many codes of conduct in original BL novels group. Most of the time, people develop more beyond the original meaning. So I suppose a main character may lead to a big argument, but I wouldn't put them in a BL novel for sure. The 1,000,000 words long novel I've mentioned is a story with my favorite character shown. But this includes my personal emotional factor. Because I liked writing small pieces for fun on books when I was studying high school, this one is the one I wrote most. I passed a very special period with it. It can be said as my personal feelings, so I still hesitate about it. I'm afraid I can't write what I want to the most. I hope I can write it when I'm more mature, but my feelings are not like others. My favorite things might not be liked by other people, so if I really write it one day, I may choose to let it come out secretly and quietly. They want to write an Omega's first story. I'm pretty darn sure. If I were to guess. A pure romance story. Maybe I'll try to write a very short one. I have a plan for a soft fluff novel, but it may need to line up and wait. Oh, okay. And then I had to skip this question because it's probably about Scum Villain. This one's about Modao Zushi. Okay. And then, what memorable things have you encountered since writing? What bothers you the most? What changes, feelings, and growth do you have in mind? There's too many things. The first post, I was extremely nervous. The first praise, I was full of power. The first 100+ novel favorites, I was satisfied. The first time my post started into the VIP chapter, I stayed up all night locking myself to write thousands of words before releasing. Then I got up early the next day for class. The first time I checked my income and was happy to find that I'd got to 100, I shared a screenshot with my family to show them I had earned 100. And for the first long comment I received, though it was lengthy, it's still very cute. I kept updating when failing in my driving course. I had to be scolded by my driving coach. Bitter in heart, I was wondering when I could be a little easier. It seems that every serialization has met the busiest period of my real life, so each time has made me almost lose my mind. What bothers me the most is the endless censure. I'm not sure what strange magnetic field I had. During the 3 years of writing, there's at least one big drama almost every single work of mine. I feel that all the slanders can be imposed on an author have been imposed on me. They even created several landmark new angles of slander drama types. It's amazing. I can hardly help but wonder what will be charged on me next time. But now I don't think it's going to fall down for being slandered anymore. Do you think of yourself as an optimist or a pessimist, a short-tempered person or a soft person? Some readers praised you for your integrity of views of life, world, and values. What do you think of that? I was an absolute optimist during my high school, but later on I wasn't any longer. Sometimes I'm a grumpy person in a variable mood. It's very normal of me that this second I was still soft, amiable, and cute, while the next second I slipped into a dangerous aura, shouting for you to piss off. Don't praise me for integrity of views, because I can't guarantee that. I am not sure one day I will write something falling outside the line, so please don't imagine me this way. Besides, I think for a writer, so-called integrity of views is not an honorable merit. A writer is neither a leader nor a sage. I would like to be a cool person who creates cool stories by writing, rather than a life mentor who illustrates life philosophies by writing. If my characters can attract you and make you cry, laugh, or sigh, then that's fine. Good! I love that self-awareness. She's like, I ain't here to write some philosophical novel. I'm just here to give you a good story. What food do you prefer? What type of music do you listen to? What kind of books do you like to read at daily on times? What would you do if you were stuck at home writing novels? What do you want to do when you feel unhappy? I don't have a favorite food, but I like food, which is delicious. There are too many types of music I like. Traditional, modern, Chinese, European, American, Japanese, Korean music. They're all great. I always believe it's better for a person to have more interests, because that person can experience many different kinds of views. There are 3 themes with deep feelings: wuxia, mystery, and ghost stories. They're my favorite to read. When I was stuck while I was writing novels, I couldn't do anything, and nobody can help, so I can only bear the pain. When I feel unhappy, I'll shout to someone or myself, staring something and staying up late. Sometimes I'll go and see some long comments which can make me happy. Thank you for accepting the interview. Do you have any words for your readers? Could you sing a song for us? I hope every time I meet with you, it will be like the beginning of a new love. Oh, that was great. Awesome. I'm super excited that she has 2 novels that she's working on. The awesomeness of this. I'm so excited. I'm very excited that she's working on a 4th novel already. That's really cool. Nice. Great. So, I'm super excited about this audio drama already and all the stuff that we're getting, which is super fun. Next week, in the meantime, I'm going to be looking at that other audio drama that was revised and see what I find to talk about next week. We're going to look at the 3rd episode as well as the little extra as well. So I don't think the audio drama episodes are going to be crazy long like this one. So just be aware of that. It's going to be a little shorter for a couple weeks before we get into Scum Villain, but that's okay. And I did have somebody try to tell me, and I was like, no spoilers, please stop. But somebody in the Heaven Official's Blessing, in the comments, they were like, Scum Villain episodes are shorter than most, so you should watch more than one at a time. And I was like, I just said not to tell me about Scum Villain. Why don't you all listen to me? But I'm going to take a page from MXTX, from their note about comments, and not let them bother me. But no, I am not going to be watching more than one episode of Scum Villain at a time. That's just how it's going to be. And that's how it's going to be. And if you don't like that, I'm sorry. But that's what I'm going to allow in my schedule. So that's how we're going to do this. So they may be shorter discussions and episodes. It will be what it will be. But that's just how my schedule has to work for now. And then we'll dive into the novel after that. It will be fine. But I'm going to savor it for what it is. So... But in the meantime, I'm super excited. I hope you all enjoyed this reaction and discussion. I'll be back next week with episode 3 of the audio drama, and I'll talk to you all then. But in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back real soon with more Heaven Official's Blessing. Bye!